Well, Simon Marks joins us, our Washington correspondent, with the US death toll more than 70,000 now, and Donald Trump saying that he's winding down the White House COVID-19 task force, although he's kind of wound back on that a little bit today. Well, with all the news, here's Simon.
Wound back on it. He's completely reversed his position.
I was being kind.
The president is for turning. I tell you what, Ian, the Trump administration's plans with regards to coronavirus change so swiftly, it is almost impossible to keep up. Yesterday, we were told the president's coronavirus task force was indeed being disbanded. That came as news to members of the president's coronavirus task force. So today, perhaps realizing that the group's mission has not yet been accomplished, the president has done a U-turn.
I thought we could wind it down sooner, but I had no idea how popular the task force is until actually yesterday. When I started talking about winding it down, I'd get calls from very respected people saying, I think it would be better to keep it going. It's done such a good job. It's a respected task force. It's, I knew it myself. I didn't know whether or not it was appreciated by the public, but it is appreciated by the public.
It almost makes you wonder why he thought he could do away with it. But having decided to keep it, he's now going to expand it. New members, we are told, will be added shortly. They could all soon have lots of very difficult work on their plates because assessment after assessment of the president's plan to reopen the economy shows the number of infections and deaths here is about to rise dramatically. The University of Washington says the reopening of the economy will cause the death toll, now way over 70,000, to double. The Centers for Disease Control predicts 3,000 deaths a day in America by the end of this month. President Trump, flanked by healthcare workers at the White House about an hour ago, was asked, is it worth it?
Will the nation just have to accept the idea that by reopening, there will be more cases, there will be more deaths?
So I called these people warriors, and I'm actually calling now, as you know, John, the nation warriors. You have to be warriors. We can't keep our country closed down for years, and we have to do something. And hopefully that won't be the case, John, but it could very well be the case.
He knows it will be the case. He said as much to reporters yesterday when he travelled to Arizona to visit a factory making surgical face masks. President Trump now believes reopening the economy is more important than the collateral damage the reopening may cause. A president who never served a day in the military is inveighing the American public to become warriors in his battle to restore America's economic luster, he hopes, in time for the November election.
This is really the worst attack we've ever had. This is worse than Pearl Harbor. This is worse than the World Trade Center. There's never been an attack like this. And it should have never happened. Could have been stopped at the source. Could have been stopped in China. It should have been stopped right at the source. And it wasn't.
And there it is, the other plank of his re-election strategy, hitting out at China. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said again today, COVID-19 originated in a Wuhan laboratory, although he then conceded that the Trump administration has published no evidence to support that contention.
And I'm not sure what it is about the grammar that you can't get. We don't have certainty, and there is significant evidence that this came from the laboratory. Those statements can both be true. I've made them both. Administration officials have made them. They're all true.
Place your bets, especially with regard to the question of when the Trump administration might publish the evidence, sometimes described as enormous, there described as significant, that it says proves the virus was man-made. We have been promised it all week, Ian. As of yet, there is no sign of it.
Probably about 2nd of November, I would think.
You're even more cynical than I am.
I'm a cynic, aren't I? Yeah, quite. Well, I've learnt it all from you. Thank you very much, Simon. That's Simon Marks, our US correspondent.